Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Every problem of inaction you have is ultimately a problem of emotion. You procrastinate not because you're lazy or stupid or because you don't know what to do. You procrastinate because, on some deep primal level, you just don't feel like doing it. You eat the garbage food, you stay up too late doom scrolling, you avoid that massive life-changing project because in that moment, the emotional resistance to doing the right thing feels like a brick wall. In that moment, you just don't feel like caring. My name is Sam Carter, and I know this because at one point in my career, I felt a profound emptiness, a deep sense of being stuck. So I paused everything and went on a journey, not to find myself in some cliché way, but to understand the fundamental mechanics of being human. What I'm sharing with you today isn't dogma. It's the field manual from my own fight. But what if you could manipulate your own emotions? What if you could train your subconscious mind like a dog to actually want to do the hard things? By the end of this video, you will have the tools. So right now, think of one major goal you've been putting off. That thing that whispers to you when you're trying to sleep. Get it clear in your mind and keep it there as you watch. Now, when it comes to changing your behavior, the single biggest factor will probably shock you. It's not willpower. It's not discipline. It's not motivation or building better habits or asking the fucking universe for a sign. The research is clear, and it's almost disappointing in its simplicity. The most important factor in determining your behavior, your environment. I know, it's a letdown, right? We all want to believe we're the hero of our own story, that we can be the next David Goggins just by staying hard and forcing our way through sheer mental toughness. But here's the secret. If you really want to be like Goggins, you don't just wish for it, you get a friend to drive you 50 miles outside of town, drop you in the middle of nowhere with no phone, and force yourself to run home. You don't rely on willpower, you engineer the outcome. You architect your own inevitability. Willpower is a finite resource. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Think of it like a muscle. Every choice you make, from what to wear to whether to answer an email, is one rep. By the end of the day, that muscle is exhausted. Relying on it to make the big, hard choice, like working on your business instead of watching Netflix, is like trying to lift a car after running a marathon. It's a losing battle. This is where choice architecture comes in. It's the art of designing your world so that the right choice becomes the easiest choice, the default choice. Want to lose weight? Don't just try to resist the cookies in your pantry. Purge them. Throw them all out. Then, when you're feeling strong and not hungry, pre-order a month's worth of healthy meals. You take the thinking and the choice out of the equation. Want to wake up earlier? Don't rely on your heroic morning self. Set 5 alarms and place your phone across the room next to a glass of water. You want to write a book? More annoying, more of a hassle than getting up. You want to write a book? Stop waiting for inspiration to strike in your distracting apartment. Book a non-refundable cabin in the woods for a weekend with no internet access. Just you, the smell of pine, the sound of your own typing, and the crushing weight of a prepaid weekend you cannot escape. Before you even start the race, you manicure the path to the finish line. But mastering your environment is only half the battle. The other half involves manipulating the incentives within it. And to show you how powerful this is, let me tell you a story. This is Juwan. For years, she dreamed of starting her own business. 6 months after quitting her corporate job to pursue that dream, she had accomplished nothing. 11 months of staring at a blank screen, the cursor blinking like a tiny, mocking heartbeat. And here's the paradox. Smart, educated people like Jiwon often have the most trouble taking action. Why? Because they're smart enough to invent twice as many sophisticated bullshit excuses. I need to do more market research. I have to perfect the business plan. I'm just brainstorming and strategizing. It all looks like work, but it's just a fortress of inaction built from the bricks of intelligence. I offered to help her, but on one condition. It wasn't going to be pleasant. She accepted. Here's the thing about being stuck. We get stuck because we have the luxury of overthinking. We are comfortable enough in our inaction. As human beings, we are wired to avoid pain, and we don't take significant action unless the pain of inaction, the pain of staying where we are, becomes greater than the perceived pain of action. My goal with Jiwon was simple: to artificially manufacture that pain. I took her to a gym. In the middle of the floor was a heavy sled, the kind football players use for training. I told her the rule was simple. You are going to push this sled back and forth without stopping. The only way you are allowed to stop is when you have finalized the name of your business, its first product, and the single next step you will take to launch it. She looked at me like I was insane. Then she started pushing. For the first few minutes, it was just a workout. Then the burning started in her quads. Her lungs started to ache. The gracing sound of the metal on the floor became a rhythmic torture. Sweat poured down her face. She stopped for a second to catch her breath, and I just looked at her. The only way to stop is to make a decision. She groaned and kept pushing. Her mind was racing, trying to find an escape. But there was no escape. There was only the sled. And in that moment, a profound shift happened. The vague, abstract pain of not starting her business was no match for the immediate, visceral, agonizing pain of pushing that sled. The pain of standing still had become physically unbearable. She finally gasped, Okay, I've got it." The sled stopped. That breakthrough is what I call the do something principle. It's based on a piece of advice my high school math teacher gave me when I was stuck on a problem. If you don't know what to do, just start writing. Write down the formula. Write down what you know. Just do something. We have it all backwards. We think that action is the result of motivation, that one day we'll wake up and feel like changing our lives. But it's the opposite. Action is the cause of motivation. It's like trying to push a car with a dead battery. The hardest part is getting it to move that first inch. It takes almost all your energy. But once it starts rolling, it gains momentum, and then the pushing becomes exponentially easier. Action is your first push. It creates a chemical chain reaction in your brain that generates the very feeling you thought you needed to begin. Now that you've seen Jiwon's first step, what is the absolute smallest, simplest action you could take today towards your biggest goal? Don't overthink it. The dumber, the better. Drop it in the comments. Let's create some positive social pressure right here. Jiwon's small action that day, choosing a name, snowballed. It led to building a website. That led to creating content. That led her to get on a plane and fly to Korea to source products. She was crushing her goals. The momentum was real. Then she used my own tools against me. She made a clever bet, a form of social pressure. If she sold out her first batch of inventory by a certain date, our whole group of friends would book a trip to Korea to celebrate. And the funny thing is, I'm in Korea right now. I'm filming this from Seoul. But not because she sold everything. I'm here because she gave me a reason. For years, I had my own dream I was procrastinating on, filming documentaries abroad. It was always too hard, too expensive, too complicated. The excuses were endless. But Jiwon's challenge, her action, became my do something moment. It gave me a deadline, a reason, an environmental push. I somehow ended up on the receiving end of the motivation I was trying to teach. The mentor became the mentee. And it proves a powerful point. Motivation is karmic. The more you put out into the world, the more you motivate and push others, the more you will find it comes back to you in unexpected ways. But here's the final, most important lesson. Yvonne didn't sell all her goods by the deadline. She failed the bet. The old G1, the one paralyzed by perfectionism, would have called this a catastrophic failure and retreated back into planning and self-criticism. The new G1? She calls it learning. She accomplished more in 1 month of failure than she did in 11 months of perfect planning. And this is why the point of your goals is not actually your goals. It's not about the 20 pounds you lose. It's not about the $1 million you make or the house you buy. It is the chasing itself, the person you become in the pursuit of that goal. The feeling of progress, of movement, of taking action and seeing the world respond. That is the reward. The goal is just a destination you point your car towards. The real living happens on the drive. When I asked G1 what she would tell her past self, the one stuck for 11 months, she didn't hesitate. She said, "Just go for it. Just do it. It's not that big of a deal. By doing anything, you learn something, and that's all that matters. This knowledge is powerful, but only if you use it." If this resonated, give it a like and subscribe for more content that respects your intelligence. You know how it is. Videos that challenge the status quo can disappear without warning. Save this one if you want to come back to it.